really sorry that I'm not pizza. I'm told that's coming, and I feel really bad for the person. Like Pierluca, he's not here. He's Italian as well. He's stood in the back. You can smell it from 20 minutes away. That's nice. Thank you so much for coming here today to ASOS HQ, should I say? Yeah, I'm going to be brief and quick and everything like that, so we can get that food on time. So my name's David. At ASOS, I've got a wonderful job. Only my boss is here, so I genuinely mean it. I'm what's called a product manager. I'm sure I usually have to explain that, but I'm sure in this audience that's completely required. But long story short, the way that works at ASOS is I'm tasked with just looking at all the different ideas that you could possibly do, and then trying to choose which is the smartest to do next. And then I'm tasked with taking all the shit when people don't like it. But that's essentially my job. And I've started recently in my spare time to create what started as a blog and very quickly turned into a book on the title of In Search of Simplicity. The reason for that is that I'm tasked with thinking about how people find things at ASOS, how they use the navigation, how they interact with our category pages, how we choose to merchandise the products that we do, so on and so forth. Did this suddenly just become louder? I felt like that. And yeah, so I started writing this book, and what I really enjoy is public speaking opportunities where I can test it and see how it goes down, so you're all my guinea pigs. Yeah. So when I go to, well, the problem I want to talk about today is the discovery problems. What exactly is that? When I go along to search events, they usually focus around two things. The first is SEO. People are SEO nuts. And I mean, SEO is boring, and it's pretty standard, just follows rules, it's procedural, it's actually an algorithm, who knew? And if you just follow these steps, you'll do pretty well at it. And then we sort of understand from that it leads to acquisition, that's a no-brainer. And then occasionally, we'll talk about how user experience leads to customer retention. And that's pretty obvious as well, like we all understand build nice experiences, understand your customer, etc., etc. What I struggle with is that when we're at these events, we talk about those things as if you solve them, you're magically done. But we understand that most consumers, millennials, even Generation Z, especially for us at ASOS where we target 20-somethings, but we really mean 16 upwards, is that they all behave like duck out of up. So they have no attention span whatsoever. So we talk about these thumb-stopping moments, right? Everyone on Instagram bangs on about that. Have some content that stops that thumb from scrolling. And there's all that research from Microsoft, I'm sure you guys have heard about it. 2002, what was the attention span? 12 seconds. 2012, it got down to 8, and the estimate by 2022 is going to go down to 6. So the kind of thing that we try to get to is you can follow these two practices, but what is it that you can actually do to get people's attention quickly? And then people have ideas, and that's lovely. But really, I'm here today to make the argument that you're trying to solve a thing called the discovery problem. And because we all love a bit of maths on a Wednesday evening, I have defined the discovery problem as finding what you know you want, as well as doing so whilst experiencing an element of serendipity, and all the time doing that in an intuitive manner. And so for the rest of my time, which I am timing so I don't go over, I'm going to explain why I think each of these three things matter. And then at the end, over drinks, over pizza, I'd love if you tell me if I'm talking shit or if I'm on my page. Like I said, guinea pigs, right? So, finding what you know that you want, I'm actually not going to talk about this, because any other person who stood in front of you has probably spoken about these things, and I can add nothing new, and it's quite dry, and the rest of it. So it's all about nailing the basics. That's a big term that we use here at ASOS, as cheesy as it is. And we define it as offering an intuitive navigation. We actually don't do that. So there's a new navigation coming out to try and solve that one very shortly. Optimizing your keyword search, we've done that, we're quite proud of it. Adopting merchandising logic into your ranking. What I mean by that is quite interesting. If you actually search on our site for someone like Fred Perry, Nike, we don't have a high level of personalization as much as we like to say that we do. And you've given us no linguistic intent in that kind of search query as well. So we're guessing what you're after. So what I mean by optimizing your merchandising logic is check it out for yourselves. We will actually break that page. We'll de-optimize it to say, okay, we know in general most people are interested in Nike black trainers, so we put that in first kind of thing. That's somewhat unisex, that's non-controversial. And then we'll go to like men's tops, women's shoes, bags, etc. So they give you very quickly an overview of all the product types that we have, and we do so with the belief that it will lead you to refine, and once you refine, well, you've given us your intent, right? So we've bypassed any problem of maybe convincing you that we only carry menswear products for Nike, in which case, if that's not what you're after, you bounce. Have quality attribution, so that leads to the refinements, wrap it all up in clean UX and UI. We don't actually do that, we're fixing that as well. And track everything, have all of the data. We don't actually do that. We don't have a clue how to fix that. So, yeah, that's that. In terms of like further reading, things that I can't really add to the conversation, I really encourage you to check out a thing called Dan Bain on Medium, called Search as the Main Navigation. And he makes, really succinctly, he makes the argument, if the top level elements of your nav are so key, then why is it that you hide it behind the burger bar when you get to the smaller screen size? Now, we've all heard that one before. No one gets the burger bar, it's terrible, why do we not have something better? But he actually took it a stage further, where he proved out if you don't show it, people will initially be confused, absolutely, but then they'll engage in search, because they'll go, I have the motivation to continue. And Google Drive have just recently picked this paradigm up, so once you actually click on it, without any search characters, they'll show you the navigation elements, and he makes the point, well, that's actually the best solution that tackles both sides of the coins. Opt for it to pay. But maybe go ahead and read it, because I actually found it very interesting. Told you, you're done with that one quickly. So, experience serendipity. Now, I think this is really key. When I personally look at brands that inspire me, in terms of the discovery problem that I mentioned at the start, well, they all managed to achieve an element of showing me something that I might not necessarily have shown any indication I was interested in before. Because what we're trying to do is escape the classic recommendations problem of I only show you what you've shown me, so you're only ever going to get into that circular intent, and you're never going to get out of it, and therefore you might get quite bored, right? So let's consider it. So Spotify, where their problem is how do you find some music that you want, and they've got all the music in the world. Yeah, what do? You go and I listen to the Reclaimers for the 50th time this week, because I'm Scottish, and that's what we do. But Spotify, instead of just saying, here's some songs that we think you want to listen to, they've taken it a step further, and they've gone, well, if you had a series of songs that you like, you'd probably put it in a playlist. Hey, guess what? I've done that for you. How awesome am I? So every time you get onto Spotify, it's got your mix, and I mean, the data science is perfect, and the user experience is perfect, and you get one of those two new songs, and you're like, guess what? No one else knows that song. I'm going to put that on Instagram and look really artistic and interesting and stuff. They've done it all for you. So that's the era of serendipity that I'm talking about. And if you're not into that, then no problem. Their search is bang on, their refinements are bang on, and they even figure out that you're working in the afternoon, so they actually tell you, here's something to listen to. They've combined both sides of the coins perfectly. Follow that through. Netflix, God knows they try. But actually, they don't have the perfect content to actually do that. So Netflix, they're kind of relying on you to put in a bit of effort, right? We all feel that. But in terms of this space, they're definitely trying the most. Instagram. No one goes on Instagram with an intent, unless you're trying to find that girl on Tinder. That's the real thing. So don't judge. You've got it coming out. You want to waste time. So serendipity. Again, the whole thing. They're bringing that content out to you. You smile. You enjoy it. That's why you continue to engage in it. Even if your friend is really smug and telling you that he's got Centre Court tickets in Wimbledon when you don't. Design my night. So you met that girl, you found her on Tinder, you found her on Instagram, you're still into her, and you're going to go out, and you can't just say, let's go have drinks again, because then you're boring and dull. So design my night, non-personalized serendipity. They come through, they give you the ideas, that's why you engage with it. It's perfect, it's so much better than time out, because that's like, hey, everyone else in London is going to go through these 5 things. It's actually, don't go there, which is against their point. And then you get to Pinterest. Oh my god, the source of inspiration for the internet. These guys are phenomenal. They actually now list themselves as a visual search engine rather than a source of inspiration, which I can talk about a little bit. Sneak peek, I'll talk about that later on. But Instagram are fantastic, Pinterest are fantastic in that you go in there, you say roughly what you want, you get what you want, you described it, but they also throw some random things in. Again, you're discovering new things. Really labouring this point with serendipity, but I hope that you get it. So we get to fashion, and you'd think that I would say that ASOS are the best. I'm not. I think as a brand, we're overall better. Come join us if you want. I think it's part of what today's all about. But Liz themselves, in terms of data science, they blow us out of the water. If you actually play in their experience, if they had better products, they'd be killing us, but they don't. But their approach is there, and we should really adopt that. So what is serendipity? Well, it's a hard one to get by data scientists. I don't think any of them are in the room today, but they don't like me much because I go along and I say, I know that you're all about the maths and you're about the efficiencies, but I'm trying to argue to you to take that away. I can't necessarily quantify it to you quickly, but what I really want you to do is appreciate this idea that I'm sharing with you, and can we please just throw in a bit of word and intent every now and then. And then data science that, like I didn't engage in it, okay, let's try something new, add it to the pile and repeat. And it's a hard one to sell, and I'm trying to do it still here at ASOS, and we're kind of getting there, but if you guys all do it, and I get to say that you did it, then that'll probably help. Yeah, and then just doing the two things above in an intuitive manner. What do I mean by that? Well, as we know, our consumers are no longer really on these kind of devices. I don't want anyone being smart and being like, that's not a latest model, that's not important. These kind of devices, nor are they really necessarily on these. Well, you could really, well, I'm not trying to argue no one uses apps and mobile or anything like that, but the trend is already that we're leaving these things. It's more becoming things like this. Now, I used to have one of these. I ran a marathon. This thing was brilliant for me because I could run home, track myself, listen to music, pay for the tube, but then decide I didn't really want to run home, and buy my shopping, and sneak in my house window. I couldn't open my door, right? It still fits. But basically, do everything that I wanted to do. These kind of devices, and even TVs, that people talk to their TVs now for search and the rest of it. What's the point that I'm trying to make? I think that we need to start embracing more natural forms of discovery. The devices that you saw before, the classic one, we actually gave it to a customer, and we used to have an ASOS app on day one of the iWatch launch, because basically the code just worked. And we gave it to a customer, and the little face, when they were like, what am I supposed to do with this? Like, I can't type, I can't swipe, I can't buy things, what on earth am I supposed to do? So it goes without saying, right? That whole device, if you want to use it, you want to engage with it, you're going to have to go with your voice. It's a natural form of discovery. TV is voice. Google Home, voice, funnily enough, right? So if you're going to go down the natural path, which is definitely what the trend shows, then you've got two options. You can go visual in terms of a sense, and that's where we've got visual search. Now we actually, if I can show a cursor, this little guy here, we actually launched that a couple of weeks ago. Interesting test, not widely adopted, so we found out, you know what, A is quite useful, but we're going to have to really sing and dance about it and have a lot of onboarding, so sneak story for you. But we're actually going to push that out. We're really excited about visual search here. There's also the kind of visual browsing, so if you're not in your opportune moment where you don't quite have the I don't know the right word, the gall to sort of go, that person's wearing a nice top, I'm going to sneakily take a picture of them without them noticing, I'm going to buy that myself. And visual browse is the other way around it. So Pinterest do this quite well. It's as you're browsing, if you're interested in something, you can say that's not quite right, but what else do you have that's like that? And it takes away any form of needing to refine or understand terminology, especially in fashion, people make up crazy terms. So we're really excited by that as well. Then you get to the conversational. I haven't seen this widely adopted, but eBay have quite a good form of it. Its recognition capabilities are quite strong, so I think it's a goer. And then you get conversational in the written form. This is also a sneak sort of picture at a chatbot that we've been playing with here at ASOS as well. We're struggling with the conversational language, so it's still quite factual, it's still quite show me recommendations or whatever, but it's definitely something that we see having an application more so for maybe getting quick answers about your order statuses than trying to traverse that catalogue and find that perfect dress for the wedding itself. What I really liked at the Google I/O conference was that they appreciated there's a right time for both of them. I don't know how many people watched that keynote, it was actually quite good. But what they figured out is if someone does ask, hey, what is my calendar this week? After you hear that robot talk to you for more than about 12 words, then you've switched off, right? So what they've done is they've married the Google Home to the Chromecast, and when it's connected to your TV, they'll recognize that and they'll appreciate in this context it's better to show you a visual response than to give you a verbal response. I think it's really interesting if we then bring it back to the ASOS land in my day-to-day. If you were to say, hey ASOS, I need something for the weekend, and we said we have a pink mini skirt, we have a red mini skirt, like you're going to get nothing from that experience, right? So we would need to sort of appreciate the conversational talk, but then also make use of the device you've got in your hand or your TV to actually show you those recommendations. So to see that Google sort of got that and made the first step and kind of solved that problem in a way was really important to me. I think it's quite an interesting step forward. And technology enables that now. So this is the only boring graph that I have. And basically what it's pointing out is the accuracy of speech recognition ASR, over the past 10 years have excelled more so than it's happened in 50 years. And I can promise you, as a Scottish linguist, it's never worked, right? But it's now beginning to work. So, proof in the pudding. So if people if it works more, and this is a graph, I lied to you, this is the second bar graph, but this is the graph from a Forrester report where they've got the estimates, the keyword searches, if that's its dominance in terms of the ratio of the market today, and you've got voice searches coming up here, I mean, the trend line is there. If you even break this down into Asian markets, specifically in China, they've gone nuts for this with WeChat. It supports it really well. They literally walk around the streets talking to the devices. They've got no social qualms about doing that, how it looks, because they just love that they can walk, talk, get information, use their hands, not walk into lampposts and everything when they start doing. So the trend's definitely there. I think it's just a matter of time before we get involved in it. So if we then consider the progression of browse, in my humble opinion, I mean, anything in grey is what we've largely achieved, and anything in black is what we're heading towards. Then we started with navigation indexes. That's your classic eBay, which is a page with a series of links. Go do the work yourself. And we progressed through to like handling keywords and adding refinements and sorting, and then doing a little bit more around language recognition, like getting the singular, getting the plural, all of your compound nouns and the rest of it. So then going nuts for data driven, right? I think like 5-6 years ago, hey, I've put in all my Adobe Analytics data, I'm now perfect. And then we went, no wait, AI and machine learning, that can really optimize that and personalize it on top. Then knowledge. So I've used knowledge instead of search, because if you study again Google the Giant, they're now building the relationships between every single entity so that they can absolutely tell you why you did what you did and how it's related to other things. So it's no longer just being about like the owner of your own domain, it's having that relationship and cause and effect. And then I think we've got factual sort of means of conversation, conversational means of conversation, and preemptive. Now, we as retailers are probably not, we can't yet say that we've really jumped the hurdle of AI and ML. We sort of understand it, but I've not met anyone that's gone, yeah man, we've really got that down. So we're still like trying to figure it out. But the tech giants, they're already past the factual. So you can go on Google and you can say which film was Keira Knightley, and it will tell you. If you give it structured conversation like that, it's no problem for the guy. But if you go, who was that actress in that film that was kind of good? Or, you know, something. Who's that girl that looks like Anna Kendrick but isn't? It can't handle it, right? Which is fine. It's computationally very difficult. So it's not yet either at the stage where it can go, I need something to wear this weekend, and it just figures out all of your context, what you're into, where you're going, all the rest of it. They're getting there, but they're not quite. But watch out for a thing called preemptive. This is my second last slide. So preemptive is being headed up largely by this lady here. Her first name's Aparna. I'm not going to try and say her last name, it would be an insult to her. But she heads up Google now, at Google, funnily enough. And what she's now talking about with Google now is that it's trying to answer your implicit queries. So the whole thinking that they have is that it should just know what it is that you're after before you even ask. And their patents are open source, right? They're public records, so you can check them out. They have mad things in there. Like, there's an example where you're coming back from the gym and you can no longer cycle, so you're pushing your bike up a hill to your house. And that's where it interrupts you and it says, you know what, your mom has seemed kind of sad today. It's been a few days since you talked to her. Why don't you give her a call? Yeah, that's the nice one. It's got other things where you come back absolutely wrecked and then you try and look at something in your fridge and it's like, yeah, the best you can do is a yogurt right now. They've got examples like that. Even when Sergey was asked, okay, if Google's that great, then why is it that I search for, I can't remember the term, why is it I search for something and it got 150 billion results? Like, why do you think you're that good? And straight away it's like, that's a bug. That's a bug. I should give you one answer. I should know what you're after and why. And everything about their whole product development has been trying to get to what this lady is now talking about, which is the preemptive, but they'll do it on the right device, in the right context, everything I've been talking about, and maybe even with an error serendipity. So it's quite scary. Most we're still struggling to get the AI and get the intent and all the rest of it. They're leaps and bounds ahead, but that's okay because we're much better at fashion. So, to summarise again, I hope you agree with me. The discovery problem is something that is generically phrased enough that we can all adopt, we can all discuss, and we can all maybe agree on. I don't know, don't throw pizza at me. And that's summarised as finding what you know that you want, doing so with an element of serendipity, and other times doing on a device that makes the most sense and less friction to you. That is my talk. Thank you for your time.